Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for joining today, actually. It's the first in the series, so we are excited about also getting a fay with having to use technology to engage. So thank you in advance for being the first people on this platform, and thank you in advance for helping us make it better, because as we move along, we're going to do that. And for some of you that have not engaged with Womenomics, Womenomics was founded as an NPC, and our biggest objective really is to connect women to opportunities, connect them to each other, with the view of contributing and making sure that we are the drivers of the economy, not just in South Africa, but on the continent as a whole. So when we looked at what was happening over the last couple of weeks, and I think particularly last week, when it just came to us that this normal that we're going to be operating in is going to last probably a lot longer than what we anticipated. I think we all kind of hoped that it would go away and that we would wrestle with it, but it seems like we're going to be in this kind of environment for a while. And given the people that we are serving, the community that to whom the benefit of our work is for, we thought, particularly as entrepreneurs and as women entrepreneurs and as women business owners and as women who lead organizations, it's generally quite a lonely space. And it's definitely quite lonely when you're in an environment where you're forced to isolate and be in a space to sit and think and figure out what is normal look like. And we thought, let's create a platform where we can come together as women and as those that support women entrepreneurship, literally get together on a platform and engage, brainstorm as it works, to talk about how do we navigate this new environment, discuss what are the opportunities that exist both for our businesses and for ourselves. And we came up with this series over the next 90 days that we'll be doing this. It's quite a BHAG, but we thought we were quite clear it's going to go beyond 21 days in terms of where we need to be, and be able to say, let's do this twice a week, and let's have conversations twice a week, and let's engage twice a week, check in on each other, but also support each other through this process. So today is the first, and we're looking forward to doing very many more. We are so grateful to having Solidaridad as a partner to enable us to do this. So thank you, Precious and team that I know are on this call, because it's through their support for this that we can make it happen. And we thought very much, when you work in the space of entrepreneurship and of women entrepreneurship, often what we do is that we forget the entrepreneur. We talk about the business and forget the entrepreneur. And we thought it was befitting that in the start of the series, we start with the individual, the person. And that is why today's topic is what it is. So thank you very much to our Queen for agreeing to do the session today. She is a leadership development guru, we call her. She's awesome because she tells it as it is, with the most compassionate process also. So we're so grateful that today we can begin the session where we talk about ourselves as individuals and your mindset before we even talk about the business and what you need to think about. We thought today is best to do that. So thank you very much. I'm going to hand over to her shortly, and she will take us through the process. And how it's going to work is that she's going to be talking probably for about 20-25 minutes, and then the rest of the time will be question and answer. If you look at your, I don't know if some of you are on the app or you're on the web link, but if you scroll through and you look at chats, if you've got any questions as we're going through, we encourage that you type those up, and so that they can come up, and so that our screen can see them. And as she's talking, she might have the opportunity to respond to some of your questions. And if she doesn't, what we'll do is that when we open up for question and answer towards the end, we will then call up the people and give them an opportunity to ask those questions. And then she can deal with them. As those that joined afterwards, I think what Rehema had said right in the beginning was that please make sure that your video is off, because from a quality point of view, it's better if we have as few videos going at the same time as possible. And then secondly, please make sure that you're on mute, so that we don't have so many voices. And then when we're ready to have questions being asked towards the end, we will then unmute those as we go along. But enjoy the session. We will be asking for feedback at the end. Rehema will talk about how we get that. So we would appreciate your feedback, because we do want this platform to work for everybody. So the feedback that we get from you will enrich this process. And with that, I hand over to our Queen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Womanomics. Thank you, Rehema and Lebo. And good morning, ladies. And how are you this morning? I know that you can't respond necessarily. Yeah. So the purpose of this session, like Lebo is saying, is really to, we waking up in a space that we did not anticipate. I think even as the president was announcing, we did not even imagine what it would mean to us on a daily when you're sitting in your own corner and you still have the reality of your business and you still have the reality of the rest of your life. So we are going to be looking at questions that I am going to ask you to really support you to stop and think, to stop and look at your situation, and to start acknowledging certain things that are critical, that will support you to set up in a way that enables you to succeed the best possible way. So if you look at the invite, we talk about 3 types of check-in, because as business owners and business women, we have at least 3 critical roles. The first role is your role as a person for you and for you. And when I say person, then I include your family and your home. And then the check-in around your team, whoever you're working with, whether it's subcontracted people, whether it is your employees, your suppliers, everybody who is in your business network. I'm lumping all of them into team. And the third check-in is checking about your business. Like, where is your business? How has this impacted you? Where is your business, and what are the things that you need to take care of to make sure that whatever happens, you're able to emerge the other side successful? I'm going to share with you questions, and while I'm asking the questions, I'm really facilitating a brainstorming session for you. So I hope you have pen and paper. Jot down the answers that are coming up, the thoughts that are coming up, the things that are coming up that you had not thought of before, because I'm really hoping that out of this conversation, you will be able to walk away with content, list of things to do, things to explore, and so on. So the first critical question, and it's informed by my experience in the last 4 days, is what do you now know about yourself? Because on Saturday, by the end of the day, I felt like I was getting depressed. And I asked myself, Hore, what is making me feel like this? And am I going to feel like this for the next 20 days? And I was like, I am anxious. So when I asked myself that question and I explored what is going on for me, I realized that I am an organized person. And I realized that also, which is, I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, I also realized that I know my name when I am busy. When I'm not busy, I don't know my name. So I realized that on Saturday, I had planned a few things that I was going to do for the business, and I ended up not doing them. So by the end of the day, I was in self-judgment, I was in self-criticism, I was in self-disappointment, because I felt like I did not do the things that I needed to do. So that disappointed me, and it left me not liking myself. So I would like you to really challenge yourself. Look at the past few days in lockdown and check, what have you discovered about yourself? Because that information, those insights are important to support you to structure the rest of the lockdown so that you can stay sane and well. Because if you're depressed on day 2, it's not a good place to be. So that's the first thing that I would like you to really look at is, what do you now know about yourself? What do you know in terms of clarity? What do you know in terms of self-doubt? What do you know about self-judgment? Have you gotten enough time to look at yourself, judge your weight, judge your this, judge your everything, judge your home, judge? So check whether you are now connecting to things that are making you feel less, and check where you are connecting with things that inspire you, that make you stop, and for the first time you're like, wow, have I created all of this? I'm so excited about this. I'm so proud of myself for doing this and for doing the other thing. So really, it's an opportunity for you to stop and look. What's working? What's not working? What are you happy about? What are you not happy about? What do you know about yourself? What are the weaknesses that are being challenged in this situation? What are the strengths that are carrying you through the situation? So that's the big part. And all those answers, you'll see how we use them to start creating a well and healthy environment during the lockdown. The second important question is, what do you now know about your team? Who is in your team? What are their roles during lockdown? Who is available to you? Who is not available to you? And do you know enough about the people who are available to you to know how to connect with them and co-create with them? A simple thing that we talked about with Lebu yesterday is, because we are women, unfortunately, it means we are also stepping in for those whose helpers have gone home. We are stepping in as teachers for those whose teachers think it's a good idea to send all the subject work to do every day. If you have 3 children, you're sitting with schoolwork for 3 children, so you're stepping in for 3 teachers, you're stepping in for your helper, you still have your business. So in your team, do you know the critical people? Do you know their circumstances? Have you spoken about how to contract with each other so that you're still able to co-create, so that you don't feel frustrated when you're available, your team member is not available, you feel that they are not pulling their weight, all of those things? Because if we don't know enough about critical members in our teams who are supposed to be co-creating with us during the lockdown, we may end up with strained relationships because we have not invested in understanding who they are, and therefore decide whether you're going to have your meetings at 5 o'clock in the morning or at midnight, you know? And then the third question is, what do you now know about your business? What do you now know about your business? Is it working? Is it not working? I think for all of us, that is the first big question. And the biggest measurement is check cash flow. Am I still able to make money during this period? So that's the first critical thing that I know that all of us are exploring. What do you now know about your business in terms of cash flow, in terms of billing, in terms of product packaging, in terms of opportunities available during this period? What do you now know about your business in terms of, is this really what you want to do? You know, when we get to the crossroad like now, you may actually come out of this with a new business idea. What do you now know about your business? Is it really what you want to do? Is it aligned to your vision? Is it aligned to your mission, your values, your brand, your passion, your purpose? Is it cumbersome? Can you streamline it? Is it targeting the right audience? Do you need to change your marketing strategy? So what do you now know about your business? And you may say to me, Queen, what's the benefit of asking all these questions? For me, the benefit is I have now gotten a list of critical things that I'm keeping going, because as I look at what do I now know about my business, what do I now know about my team, what do I now know about myself, I've identified the things that are going to keep me safe, the things that are going to keep me sane, the things that are going to keep me creative, because I thrive when I'm creative, the things that are going to keep me excited, because I love creating, I love success, I love doing things and getting them happening and working and all of that. So I have a list of things that I'm doing that are keeping me busy. I'm so excited, that are keeping me successful because I'm still ticking the boxes of the things that I wanted to do. I'm looking at my goals for this year against the answers that are coming up from what do I now know about myself? What do I now know about my team? What do I now know about my organization? And I'm actually looking at the 21 days and I'm like, wow, I need to get going. I need to do things here because I have reconnected with all the things that make sense, that I have chosen that I want to do for myself, for my team, with my team, and for my business. And that list then supports me to schedule. And while it feels like it's locked down and all of that, for me, the clarity of purpose, the clarity of structure, the clarity of deliverables, dates, and all of that has made me actually enjoy the time that I have, because I can structure it and I can also fit in my family. Fortunately for me, my family is just my husband because my kids are not in the house now. But I'm able to spend time with my husband. I'm able to spend time with me. I'm able to read. I'm able to do all of those things. So the first critical part of this process that will enable us to structure and be in control and stay healthy and well is that question, that big check-in. What do I now know about myself? What do I now know about my team? What do I now know about my business? And please watch out. Look for the positives and the negatives. Don't only focus on what doesn't work, because that may also slip you into feeling frustrated, sad, all of that. Look at every single challenge that comes up, every single thing that doesn't work. If it is important enough to really get you to be emotional, depressed, anxious, what, look at how you convert that into an opportunity. So now that this is what is the issue, if I could turn it into an opportunity, what could I do? What could I see that I'm not seeing now? So once you have established what you now know, the next critical thing is the step where you're saying, what do I need to acknowledge? And the acknowledgement is another important life skill. In life, there are things that we are in charge of that we can control. There are things that we cannot control. Acknowledging, when you look at all of the things that you now know, acknowledging where you have power and control, where you don't have power. It's important. Why is it important? You know, if it is something that you cannot do anything about, it's something that you cannot do anything about. So there's no value in investing your time, your frustration, your emotions, your attention on something that you get that you cannot do anything about. So it's really saying, now that I know what I know about myself, my team, my business, what are the things that I need to acknowledge? For instance, yesterday I had to acknowledge that trying to schedule my C-suite clients for coaching sessions now is not going to work, because even though I secured the coaching sessions, they kept canceling because things are coming up. Obviously, lockdown doesn't mean that business is not working. Lockdown means people are busy, and now they're also fighting fires. So I acknowledged that, and I realized that I'm going to be frustrated if I keep shift, because then I get last minute, Queen, can we please move the meeting? Can we please? So I sent all of them an email and I said, I acknowledge that this is time where You guys cannot even predict what is going to happen. And the trend in the last 2 days makes me suggest that we park all the coaching sessions until after lockdown, and I'm available if you want a coaching session. So I was acknowledging that even though I saw that as an opportunity to keep the income coming, I realized that it was going to frustrate me because one, it was keeping me waiting, and then I wait, and then a coaching session is canceled, and then I wait for another one, and so I was not able to sit, plan, and implement because I was always waiting, and then the disappointment when the session doesn't happen. So look at all the things that you now know. Be realistic. Acknowledge what you need to acknowledge, and then decide what you need to let go. Like I let go of my coaching sessions with my C-suite clients who pay the most, who would have supported me to secure some income in April. I let that go because I was going to frustrate myself and I was going to frustrate my clients. So the letting go is one option. It's not the only option, because there are certain things where you are not letting go. You are instead coming up with a different alternative. You're repackaging this differently. For instance, even though I am not going to be coaching them, I've decided this morning that I'm going to get everybody's mobile number. I've got some of their mobile numbers. I'm going to get all of their mobile numbers, and I will check in on WhatsApp at intervals. What am I doing now? I'm seeing an opportunity to build personal relationship. I may not be billing for it, and I see it as a powerful opportunity to build personal relationships, to stay as their number one coach throughout this process, so that when the time comes for us to start coaching, we actually have had a conversation that is going, so we start where they are and there is a connection. So acknowledge what you need to acknowledge, what's working, what's not working. Let go what you know will not work. Explore the alternatives. Explore the alternatives. Challenge yourself, dare yourself. For me, one of the biggest alternatives is doing exactly this. And I don't like tech. When I see tech, I want to run. And I have seen this as an opportunity. So instead of letting go and say, "Whoa, I can't do anything," I'm saying, "Oh, okay, I can have group coaching sessions." And there's an opportunity here because I can have group coaching sessions with so many more people, not only my small group of clients that I've worked with before. So acknowledge what is possible, acknowledge what you cannot do, and then make decisions. I've given you an example of how I made decisions around the coaching, my C-suite, letting go of the coaching schedule, and looking at a different way of staying connecting and supporting them. So explore the opportunities, explore the alternatives, and then make decisions. This whole process doesn't mean anything if at the end you're like, "Oh yeah, well," and you lounge and you allow yourself to be in your feelings and you allow yourself to be lazy. This is the time where we are going to be ready on time, dress up, wear our jackets, and sit up straight with our laptops, not laptop in bed, on the table, because your creative juices, for most people, and your mode and your demeanor and all of that support you when your mode is in the "I'm at work, I'm working, I'm in the office." I'm used to working from home. Some people may not be used to it. So if you have not been working from home, one of the things that you're going to have to do, for instance, is to find a corner that is your corner. You may even have a ribbon and say to your family, "This is my office," so that you sit there and you're able to set your mindset to work time, and you're able to be creative, focused, and then implement everything that you've seen that from the process that you see that you can implement during this period and that you can then use to stay in business, to stay sane, to stay creative, so that this is not downtime, therefore lost time. If anything, it's time where you are looking at your backlog, you're looking at the things that you've always wanted to do that you now have time to do. You have an opportunity to build powerful relationships with critical people in your network. You're able to give your business very solid a direction over and above all of that, because lockdown is really going to impact us at a health and welfare being more, as much as it impacts our business and our cash flow. Look after yourself. Look out for feeling sad. Look out for being upset. Look out for not contracting with your family correctly and therefore being irritated with them all the time, thinking that they don't care. If you haven't sat with them and shared with them what you're doing and explained to them how critical it is, if you haven't asked them for certain times in the day and certain space in the home to create what is important for you, you're going to end up getting upset with them. And they don't understand because they are not in your head. Everything that is in our heads, we need to speak out so that we are able to co-create a home environment where everybody is happy and successful and you are happy and successful, where you as a family can still use this time to have fun, to be family, to be together, because I think if anything, this time is also showing us how important it is for us to be with our loved ones. So let's not create unnecessary war because we're not exploring, what do I now know about myself? What do I now know about my team? Myself, family is involved. My team, family is involved. What do I now know about my business? Family is involved because they need to be able to co-create with you by giving you the time and the space that you need so that you're able to enjoy this time. It actually sounds contradictory. Enjoy this time because it's time that we normally don't get to sit still and do all the behind the scenes work that enable us to show up and succeed out there. And I want to pause here for questions and comments. Cool.
Thank you so much, Ausqueen. Morning, everybody. That for me was so insightful because I think one of the biggest challenges is around the knowing about myself is this appreciation that for me, chaos doesn't work. Even though I come across as very chaotic, I actually need structure to facilitate that chaos. So I'm curious as to how often do you check in with yourself? You said that is one of the key tools or processes that we can use. Is it something you have to do daily, or is it just once off, and if you do it well, it's going to last you for a long period of time? How do we look at checking in? How frequently do you do it? And practically, I know you told us about the tools in terms of saying, what do I need to acknowledge? What kind of space do you need to create for yourself to facilitate a check-in process?
So the check-in is a process. I'm a queen of check-ins. So I have my annual check-in that I do for like 3 months in preparing for my new year. So because I've done that proper detailed check-in, my preparation for 2020 is very detailed. And I also break it down by month by month. So when I check in in the context where there's already a plan. And every month, I check in at the beginning of the month. I review the previous month. Like today, I'll be reviewing March, and I will be planning and confirming April. And once I've done that, I then check in weekly. So for this week, I go to my monthly plan, and I confirm what I need to be doing for the week. But obviously, I'm also adding the new things that have come up that will be in the new week that were not there when I was planning. And then I check in daily. I have a self-coaching diary that I use for daily check-in. I'm a queen of check-ins. If I haven't checked in, I don't know my name, I can't think. I float for the whole day because I haven't spent time and said to myself, what does my day look like? What are my responsibilities for the day? Therefore, what time must I wake up? What am I wearing? What time must I leave the house? And all of that. So when it comes to this lockdown, it's still the same. It's still the same for me. What am I doing today? What times? Therefore, so the night before I check, I confirm wake up time. And then from there, I know what time am I waking up? And then I get ready and then I check in. So I connect. Where am I today? What do I know about myself today? Therefore, what do I need to put in place so that I'm able to be fit for purpose to deliver success for today? And then sometimes during the day, depending on whether I'm busy with one solid piece for the day or different pieces, brief check-ins in between. What's going on? What am I doing? What do I want to achieve out of this? What's the impact that I want to have? Therefore, what do I need to put in place? So you can check in all the time if you want to. And check-in is not crazy. This is a detailed process where you check in like weekly or monthly. Daily, fit for purpose check-in. What do I need to do to deliver successfully what I have planned to deliver today? And at the end of the day, review, plan, review, plan. So that's what I do. It's a big process at different chunks per activity, so that I keep myself in check all the time. And guys, you will be amazed at how much you then take responsibility for creating success over and over again. It's just a nice way of doing things.